Okay, well, our press reviewer, Diptyque Laurent, is with us now. She's been gleaning reactions from those EU parliamentary results. Diptyque, let's start with perhaps Belgium. Wins there for the far-right party.
That's right. They did enjoy a victory in Sunday's election. The Flemish-speaking region of Flanders in the north of Belgium in particular, the far-right there booked a huge win. They're on track to nab second place, with roughly 18%. That's about 3 times as much as in 2014 in the last elections. This as the country hosted triple elections yesterday, regional, national and European elections held concurrently in Belgium. The far-right surge has really shocked the country, as you see from the front page of the Gazette van Antwerpen. Flanders has never voted so far right, it says, while Der Standard, another Flemish paper, says Flanders is radicalizing.
Okay, one far-right party there rising, but elsewhere in Europe we've seen populist and Eurosceptic parties mark some major wins as well.
That's right, and it's really dominating the European front pages today. Let's start with Il Manifesto, an Italian daily. There you have Matteo Salvini's League party that came away with 30% of votes, crushing its coalition partner, the Five Star Movement. And to give you an idea of how meteoric that rise has been, back in 2014, his party obtained just about 6% of votes. A rise that's warranted this paper to give him a sort of godlike status, even if it is an opposition paper saying amen on its front page. Poland as well, the Law and Justice Party there registering nearly 43% of votes, while in Hungary, Viktor Orban's Fidesz party was very much present. That's what this headline here from Blick, a tabloid there, says. A record high turnout, about 3 million people getting in there to vote, to cast our ballot, and Fidesz getting roughly 56% of votes. In Britain as well, Nigel Farage's Brexit party swept aside his rivals with the biggest share of votes, as you see from the front page of the Guardian there.
And of course, here in France, Marine Le Pen's National Rally also coming out on top, and that's dominating the newspapers here.
That's right. You can see it here on Le Parisien, which I'll show you in a minute. 20 Minutes, which is a street paper, 20 minutes, calls it the frontal shock or the head-on impact. And they're going with the head of Marine Le Pen's party's list, Jordan Bardella there. The party winning the same percentages of votes as his age, 23. For Le Parisien, the big bang continues, because this victory, if you like, from the far right really shows is part of a wider occurrence in France. You have the shipwreck, I quote Le Parisien, of the conservative right party, the traditional right party, Les Républicains. You have the rise of the Greens. You have this duel between Marine Le Pen's far right and Macron's centrist. All this confirming what Le Parisien calls the explosion or the big bang of the French political landscape. L'Opinion noting that Macron's party managed to save face, so they're sort of tempering their reaction a little bit. They're saying the score is more or less on mark with 2017. It's not a victory, it's more of a resistance, according to one of Macron's ministers.
But one of the overall groups across the European Union that we did see record pretty sizable wins was the Green parties, and indeed the Green group in the Parliament gaining a lot of seats, 18, I think, new MEPs.
That's right, and there's a lot of jubilation in the press today from, for instance, Die Welt, the German paper, where the Greens did triumph, as you see on this front page here. They're hoping now to shape European policy and make climate change, combating climate change a major issue. Same deal for the Greens in Ireland, who are tied in top place with about 15%. Libération here in France is focusing on what it calls a green growth in France, but also in Europe. The editors of the left-leaning paper hailing what they call another left. Green, the color of hope, is the clearest and most reassuring outcome of this election. Climate change, biodiversity, the glyphosate scandal, and youth protests are proving that European voters have understood that the greatest emergency right now is saving the planet.
So it is indeed, it's not a protest vote away from the main parties, it is actually about the environment.
Well, according to Courrier International, the weekly magazine, that's what they say. They going with an editorial title there, Make Europe Green Again. They say that the fact that, for instance, French voters made the Greens party the second biggest opposition, this despite Macron's attempts at what they call greenwashing, voters have decided that now the environment is a real European issue. After all, as Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the author of The Little Prince, once said, we don't inherit the planet of our parents, we borrow it from our children.
True. Finally, Diptyka, something that we may have missed if it were not for you, but there's a little-known party here in France that has doubled its score from the last EU parliamentary polls.
That's right. It's the Animal Rights Party, Eve. It's part of the European... They actually do have a European representation. It's a Eurogroup for animals. Their goal is to protect the rights of animals, be it through a common agricultural policy, the transport of livestock, fishing, and animal experiments, all sorts of things. In the French national elections in 2017, the Animal Rights Party received 1.1% of votes. Well, on Sunday, they doubled that to 2%, actually over 2%, 2.2%. And that's just under the percentage received by the Communist Party. So somebody is certainly licking their wounds today. Not bad, though, for a party founded just 2.5 years ago, which counts actress Brigitte Bardot and Johnny Halliday's daughter, Laura Smet, as their big patrons.
OK, thanks for bringing that to our attention, Diptyka Laurent, with some of the reactions there to those parliamentary results.